All right, our next topic of conversation is pace of play. It's been a hot topic in the lacrosse world.
Big topic.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
Last year, 2 years even.
Yeah.
Rules committee has been looking at shot clocks and getting rid of horns, all kinds of kind of crazy, interesting rules to speed it up.
Drastic steps.
Drastic stuff. I'm interested to kind of hear how you would paint this argument. I mean,
Sure.
It can be painted a lot of different ways.
Yeah.
So what are the bare bones essentials for you?
Well, as we've talked about a couple times in leading up to taping this, I think that for me there's two arguments that you need to talk about. The first question is, do you think that there needs to be something done to the overall structure and/or rules of the game of lacrosse to, either make it a better
That's
game?
a good first question.
Yeah,
Does something need to be done?
Yeah. And I think that the fundamental answer to that is yes. Things do need to be done. I think that smaller changes rather than the nuclear Armageddon that is a shot clock and a 2-point line, those obviously work for the MLL. Just for me, coming from a little bit more of a traditionalist point of view, I think that we're kind of getting away from the ethos or the real meaning of the game and the way that it originally came about when you start introducing those elements in, and I think that we can get back to the type of lacrosse that people are lamenting is gone. People are having the nostalgia for that type of lacrosse. I think we can get back to that with few changes. What about you?
Well, for me,
Targeted changes.
Next year, 2 years, 3 years, do I think college lacrosse needs rule changes? Mm-hmm. I don't know. I'm not so sold on that it needs to happen. If things continue the way they've been going, we have a very sort of a small sample size for the slowdown style of college lacrosse. It hasn't been going on that many years yet. I think if it persists, it's something to look at. I don't know that we've reached the end of things yet, where the evolution has stopped and where somebody won't come out with something that really does counteract the slowdown coaches game.
Right.
Maybe it's more fast-paced, maybe it creates transition in weird places. I really don't know what the best option is, but I think you've got kind of a lot of choices, and I don't know that we've exercised all our options yet in terms of, we have to go to a shot clock or we have to change the rules.
Smaller changes can be made.
Yeah, I like the idea of knocking out the sideline.
Yeah, that's a big one.
But I don't know that it needs to even go that far. I don't know
I
if
think
anything needs to happen. Right, and this is the divide.
Yeah.
Does anything need to happen?
Well, I think that, and we've had a chance to kind of debate this issue. So, from my perspective, I think that there's really three kind of basic things that can be brought in to alter the game a little bit in the vein that we're talking about without making too big of a difference.
Yeah.
For me, those changes are eliminate the sideline horn.
No
pretty basic. Yeah, I don't think anybody has a problem with it.
Seems like getting more players on and off, specializing.
Right. Could be small breaks, and apparently it's not used at the international level. So
yeah, those sideline horns, they pop right in now, and even though they don't have clearance clock, you kind of never feel like teams are stalling that much international lacrosse. So maybe that's just we don't see it every for every 4 years.
Well, even if it amounts to 1 or 2 fast breaks a game, I mean that's what people want to see.
Something.
And it's something. The next change is kind of familiar with lacrosse fans at this point. Stick dimensions really been and it's same time that people are talking about pace of play.
Yeah.
Stick dimensions go hand in hand with that. Connor and I were kind of proponents of an overall universal head.
I think having 3 different dimensions, a universal, high school, college is crazy.
It's ludicrous.
It's
a way for companies to make more money. Let's call it.
It should be.
Sorry, guys.
It should be widest. 6.5 across the top. College legal throat.
I agree.
That's legal in youth. That's legal in high school.
Yeah.
That's legal in college.
And if you can't play with that, there's no people that are crying saying that they need a more narrow head to play the type of game that they want to play. That's baloney. I mean, the guys that started the game playing with those the Native Americans, you've seen their sticks. I mean, come on.
I mean, you can still see a guy go out with a wooden stick and do some pretty unbelievable stuff.
Yeah.
It has always been true in lacrosse, and it will always be true. It is not the wand. It's the wizard.
Very true.
Yeah, so hit the wall and stop complaining about not having
Yeah, exactly,
face
exactly.
on your stick.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a legitimate complaint.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
But I think that we're kind of in agreement that from a mindset and a tactical point of view, that there do need to be some changes in the way that guys play the game, both the individual players and the way it's being coached and how you're seeing
And
that.
that's up to each program.
Yeah.
I do like that is will be up to each program.
Well,
the rules haven't legislated to the
Right.
point where you don't have that choice
Right.
anymore. So that's a good thing, and I hope to see some other teams coming out being a little more creative
Right.
and trying to take advantage of some of the opportunities that do exist.
Right. Well, yeah, that
Like
Princeton
yourself.
defense back in the day, super famous.
that changed things around.
Teams needed to adjust to that.
And the Denver's offense
Right.
now that they run, I mean that's kind of changing things.
Well, what an interesting paradox. You're talking about Bill Tierney, famous for being a kind of slow down the game type of guy, and now
outlawing offset
now
heads.
Denver, right? Exactly, outlawing offset heads, playing that he was the initiator of that quick sliding defense, really kind of trying to win grind out games, and now he's playing and in Denver wide open style. I mean, they're the definition of this new wild
And
Wild
he
West
is
offense.
actually the perfect example of
God, that's come
what
around.
kind of makes my argument. The beginning of my argument is that there are those guys out there thinking of new ways
Yeah.
to beat your opponents right now, and I don't know that we need to legislate and change the games via rules.
Right.
Maybe the small change, maybe the getting rid of the sideline horn,
Yeah.
but beyond that, maybe you do leave it up to the coaches and the players, and you say, if you really want a championship, you're going to find a way to win. And you're going to find a way, maybe to win interesting, because right now everybody's kind of winning boring.
Right. A lot of copycats. No, I'm into that. I like that idea. I think that's a really important way to think about things.
Yeah. That's a good topic. Something I'm sure we'll revisit going forward.
Yeah, probably. I don't think that. I mean, the rules committee comes out in a month. I think that early August they're coming out with what they're going to do. For me, I don't think the guys that are on that committee, I saw the list in Inside Lacrosse, I don't think that they're going to be the type of guys that are going to put a shot clock or a 2-point line in, but it'll be very interesting. Exactly. We don't know. Summer's going to be hot.
So we'll be back.
We'll be back.
All right.